Welcome, everyone, to the Retro Pool Guy podcast. I'm your host, the Retro Pool Guy. And thank you for joining us. I know it's been a long time, but I've been doing a lot of work on my mouth. So, I wasn't able to speak there for a little bit, but we are back. So thank you
And
for coming.
everyone was very happy until now.
Yes.
It's a nice vacation.
Thank you, Nick. As always, we are joined here with the Drunken Beard. How you doing, Nick?
Just been a crazy 3 months. Lots of work, but it's nice to take a break and do something fun and record something for once.
Nice. And Andy,
You.
welcome back, buddy. How you doing over there?
I'm doing so good.
Jumping in the pool.
It's summer where I am, and I've been in my little hillbilly pool. I'm so good.
Awesome. Well, if y'all were paying attention on the old X account, then you'll know that this is going to be our Christmas special, where we're going to talk about MegaMan X. And what would Christmas be without friends? Am I right, guys? Am I right? So I brought...
Depressing is what it would be.
Right, exactly. So I brought a special guest. You all know him. You all love him. Backed by popular demand. Evan Nixon, Type 4.
I'm doing
How you
great,
doing,
man.
buddy?
Happy Friday the 13th in December. Thanks for having me. I love, well, it's a MegaMan X Xmas episode, so I love it.
Hey.
Hey, that's
I
good.
thought that was
I
what
didn't
you were
think of
going
that.
for, but I'm glad I thought of it myself.
You gave him way too much credit.
Nope.
Quick,
We'll just edit
record
that out
this
and then I'll put it on the title and we'll just pretend it never
And I will
happened.
send
Thank you, Evan.
Kidding.
Dang it. Okay, you win. All right. So yeah, we're gonna talk about Mega Man X, but we'll get into that in a little bit. First, I want to talk about Christmas. I love Christmas. This is one of my favorite holidays, right? And what Christmas for me as a kid, kind of bittersweet, you know. I was one of those poor kids, you know, the angel tree kids. You go into the restaurants and you see those Christmas trees with kids' names on them. All right, you would have found my name on that tree, okay? So I didn't have the best Christmases. They're kind of, like I said, bittersweet. So one of the things I really love because of that is hearing other people's awesome Christmases. Because now that I'm older, like I give my kids awesome Christmases, so I like to hear about people my age who might have got some cool stuff for Christmas. So that's what we're going to talk about with you guys today. So,
Yeah.
Evan, if you don't mind, man, I want to know what is like one of the most memorable gifts that you got for Christmas? Like when someone says, "Hey, man, like what's your favorite thing that you ever got for Christmas?" What's the first thing? that
Oh
comes to
man.
your
Well,
mind?
I was prepared. I was gonna just go through a rundown real quickly of some, but you know what? I thought of this too, and I can't just say one, but I'll name them off, and then I'll just collectively just count that as one answer, if that's okay with you guys. You guys get an hour, by the way? No,
Yeah, go ahead,
no.
man.
So basically, so I'm 32 years old. So in 1995, when the Super Nintendo was getting really hot and Donkey Kong Country came out, we got that during Christmas in '95, and that was a huge deal. And I don't need to get into Donkey Kong Country; everyone's played that, and it's a fantastic game, you know, and it's incredible music. And I
You're talking about that the
yeah, yeah.
pack-in
Well, actually,
one,
No,
like the
no.
Super
For
Nintendo that came with
no
it.
Super Nintendo would be
well,
Donkey
they
Kong
did have
Country.
a
So
back-end version of it, but I
that
think
was
this particular year we already had the console, so we just got the game on its own. Right. So,
yeah.
so that was really special, man. That was a big deal, and I still have that same cart too from back then. A lot of people don't keep their stuff 'cause, you know, when you're a kid.
Nice.
A lot of people are like, "Oh, you know, like you sell it to Funko Land or GameStop, whatever," and you don't think of it. But I was a kid. I remember thinking, like, I don't want to get rid of this. This is too special. So I still have them, and that's real special. I take good care of them. And then so fast forward to Christmas '97. That was when we got the PS1. Now that was a real big deal too. My brother got Final Fantasy VII, which I'm not an RPG guy, but my brother is. And along with that, I got Croc, Legend of the Gobos. I don't know if you guys have played that. We're doing a remake.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I got
Yeah,
that
and
one.
so that was the first game I think I'd ever actually that's not the first game I'd ever seen. That was the first game that I had played at my own house with the PlayStation, and that was incredible too. And then Street Fighter EX plus Alpha, which is one of my favorite Street Fighter games. It's kind of like a deep cut. A lot of people haven't played that one or know much about it, but that's a first 3D Street Fighter game that came out for the PlayStation. And I actually still have that one too. I preserved it and got a brand new case for it and everything. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Hold
well,
on to that one.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just it's incredible. I'm a lot of people, like I said, don't know much about it, but it's a really good game. I'm surprised more people don't talk about it more, but that's
It's like the
yeah, no,
Einhander.
yeah, it's just like kind of
Oh
in that
yeah.
same category. There's some really great games that people just didn't get back in the day. And Einhander is a funny one because I actually think that game didn't do well because people couldn't pronounce the damn name. It's just like something weird. It's like, how do you say
Probably.
that?
Yeah.
We know now. We
I
know
didn't know
now,
what it
right?
was for the
Yeah, we know
longest
now
time.
because we've heard it a billion times. But I remember seeing this kid and be like, I ain't
Yeah.
never what, um, so that was when we had solidified the PlayStation at that point in 90, and so Christmas 1998. So I was when I was about 7 years old, I was a huge Rugrats fan, the cartoon. So my mom
Nice.
got me Rugrats: The Search for Reptar, which it's not a good game, right? But when you're a kid,
Oh, I bet that's a fantastic game. I would pick the
It's a
hell out of
great when
notorious
that.
game
you're
that one.
it's
I think
Well,
that's one of those
yeah,
notorious ones.
it's a really good game for if you're we're in my era and you were as young as I was, and I loved that game. And also, but the thing is, I begged my mom for this for like 2 years. And I finally got it. She got me Mortal Kombat Trilogy on the PlayStation. And I
Nice.
mean, now I actually like Ultimate more than Trilogy, but back then it was more so about the being the secret characters, being Shao Kahn and stuff. And but once you're Shao Kahn and Kintaro and all those guys, and you realize how easy it is to beat the game, you kind of get over it, right? But it was a lot of fun doing that for the first time back then. But the one game though that out of all these Christmases that I can't help but just think about was I got Crash Bandicoot Warped, which I was a big Crash Bandicoot fan too. But the thing was that this game was so beautiful. It's got this like lenticular cover on it. It's just gorgeous. I wish I could show you guys. Obviously, we're on a podcast, but I just couldn't believe it when I looked at that. I still have it too. I can't believe I kept a lot of this stuff, but I still have that case. And
And which
Crash
game was
Bandicoot
that again?
Warped on PlayStation. It's
Which
the third Crash Bandicoot game. Yeah,
War?
Warped. They don't call it Crash Bandicoot
The
3.
third
It's
one.
just Warped, but I should just call it Crash Bandicoot 3. But I just loved it, man. Like the cover, it's just beautiful colors. He's kind of got kind of has this like Terminator 2 thing going on where he's got the jacket and the bike, and I think he's got like a red eye kind of thing underneath his sunglasses, and
Yeah.
I think he's got like Zuka or something
Yeah, I
on him
remember
too,
that.
and it just awesome game too. Like probably the best. I'm pretty sure that's the best Crash Bandicoot they ever made. That's the one that I always go back to, and yeah, it was just real special. And just a little side note, I remember. I think this was the next year after that. I don't recall much about particularly on that Christmas. I'm sure it was great, but I remember my mom just was like, "What do you want to eat for dinner?" And I was like, "I don't know." And I took a nap, and it was one of those naps that turned into going to sleep, like for the night. And I woke up at like 4 in the morning, and my mom got Taco Bell, and I never forget waking up. Had never done this before when I was this young. I woke up at 4 in the morning. Everybody was asleep. It's just super eerie when you've never done that before and you're a kid. I woke up. I watched Acme Hour on Cartoon Network, which is when they played like the old like Hanna Barbera. Yeah,
Looney
yeah,
Tunes.
Looney Tunes,
Or
all
yeah,
the
yeah.
old stuff,
It
like the
wasn't
old
Looney Tunes.
Flintstones
It
and
was
all
Hanna
that
Barbera.
stuff. And which
Yeah.
is also kind of funny because like that was only being played during that segment, like whenever I was when I was during the normal hours, it'd be like Johnny Bravo and Dexter's Laboratory and stuff. So I'm like experiencing these like older cartoons I didn't even know existed. And my mom had this bowl of red and green M&Ms, just like chilling because we'd have company and that's just what you have out sometimes. And I devoured the whole bowl of it. And to this day, I can't even eat M&Ms anymore. Like normal M&Ms, I can eat the peanut ones all day, but like
Oh,
the ones that are just the green and red ones that they come out every year, I just ate like a whole bucket of those. And I just made myself sick of them, but I had so much fun during that day. And then the Taco Bell my mom got me, when you get Taco Bell and you put it in the fridge and it's incredibly soggy. I
I
don't know
know
what it
all
is. It
about it.
never bothers me now. Like
Every time.
I always think of that one day when my mom got me, that food and I just, again I devoured old soggy Taco Bell at 4 in the morning, and I just felt like I was alive or something. So those are the ones I've
That's living,
yeah.
man, when you're a kid. That's living. I bet nobody awake. The whole house is probably feels empty,
Yeah.
even though, it's not. But man, yeah, dude, I was a little night owl when I was a kid, dude. I'd wait till everybody went to sleep, and then I would just take over the living room.
Yeah. So
Like, I was up till 3, 4 in the morning all
yeah,
the
so
time
I just
when I was
basically,
a kid.
yesterday I was just kind of brainstorming like or just like kind of jotting down like what are all those like memories that really pop up, like the ones that really kind of come to mind when I think about those. And those are the ones.
Did you ever did you ever get up early like that
Oh
on
yeah, I was the first
Christmas
one to
Day?
get up. My parents used to get mad at me actually. They would be like 5 and
Yeah.
they'd be like, "No, we're not getting up yet." But the presents would come out though. That's the thing that
Yeah.
would like get me is like,
Do you know why they would get mad?
why?
You know why they were mad? As a dad, I can tell you, it's because we stay up all night wrapping those damn presents, and then you wake
yep.
us up
Yeah.
2 hours later, and we're like, "No, no, 4 a.m. It's 4 a.m. Go to
Yeah,
bed."
there was one really funny time
Yeah,
though
I've
where
been
I
there.
actually did wake up or like I said, I would wake up, I would waste no time, wake up at like 5. There was one morning I woke up and there was no
Yep.
presents at all, and I was like kind of worried. I was like, what
Oh.
happened? And I'm like starting to question my life choices about, like, but I'm like, my brother was bad too. Damn, there's nothing under this tree. And what happened was obviously my dad just like didn't get up and like, and even like the cookies and the milk, right? And the carrot. I don't know if you guys used to do that where you leave it out for Santa.
I used to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It
yeah,
was it
carrot for
wasn't
the
even it wasn't
reindeer.
even touched yet. So I was like, okay, I know something's fishy. He didn't even show up. Like, so no lie, I go
Yeah.
back to bed and I'm just kind of like, oh, maybe I should like wait a little bit longer. And I come out like 30 minutes later and there's like bites out of the cookie and the milk is half gone. And so my dad just started nibbling on it. And so all the presents were there. So I just remember that was like the one time because I was like, oh, I got up too early. But and my brother it's like really strange. Like my brother loved Christmas, but it was so hard getting him up in the morning, like in general. Like for school, like oh no, my mom had to throw water on him one morning. It was a big deal. Yeah, she got
Oh,
ice
jeez.
water and threw it on my brother because he
Wow,
wouldn't wake up.
wow.
He just my brother just is really difficult. So Christmas, even with Christmas, my brother was difficult. So he was like the last one to even like get to the living room. But no, anyways, we had my mom put both my parents put real good effort into Christmas, and it was very rarely. I mean, it was never a disappointment ever. So
Cool, man. Hey, Andy, how
Yep.
about you, man? Were you one of them early risers? Or
Yeah.
what's something you remember about Christmas? What's something that really sticks out for you, man?
Ah, man, probably in the late 90s, we used to spend a lot of time at sea for our Christmases. Where I lived on the west coast of Australia, there's a big island off the coast called Rottnest Island, and it was like a major destination for people to go for like New Year's and things like that. And we would just sail on a
Raid
sailboat.
and pillage.
Oh god, yeah, we'd sail out there for like 2 weeks. So like we'd get up Christmas Day, sail out, and then stay there until like New Year's, and then come home. So most times we would spend Christmas like in a hurried fashion, getting up early and being like, yeah, 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 cool, yep, and then come on, kids, we gotta go, we're gonna launch the boat, we're gonna go sail, and we'd live on the beach and camp for like 2 weeks, and I think we did that from like '98 through till about 2002. So that block of time was probably some of the best Christmases I ever had because we would just camp under the stars on this boat and fish. And it was summer. It was so good. Oh, it brings a
Amazing.
tear to my eye just thinking about that shit. But like 1 year, I think it was 99. I got a Nintendo 64 for
man.
Christmas. And it was like the
Ooh.
greatest. It was the greatest present I've ever gotten in my life because my parents were notoriously stingy when it came to video games. They didn't like games, so I never got anything like that. So this thing must have been heavily discounted, and it came with that Wailea Country Club Golf, and I didn't even care. I loved that game. It was so
I
good.
played that on Super Nintendo. I love that.
The year was 2003.
It was so good, man. It was so good. But like I remember, we went to Christmas. We went to Rottnest camp, and I had to wait 2 weeks to play it. And when we got back, I remember sailing back, and I was like, "Mum, can we go to the video store and get some games?" She was like, "Yeah, whatever, as long as you just shut up." And that was the greatest Christmas ever.
Was that the only game you got with Wale?
So you got
Ah, that was the only one I ever got given.
Oh,
I think
okay,
I rented
gotcha,
most of the games
gotcha.
for that console,
I was like, because here's the thing.
and I kind of accrued
Yeah,
games here and there.
with N64, man, like especially during the late 90s, it was like the pinnacle when you had that and Super Mario 64, GoldenEye, and WCW NWO
Yeah.
World Tour. Those were like that was like the peak.
Yeah.
And I know
That was a strong period because
I
like
always
Perfect Dark,
jealous of people that had
Majora's
that. And
Mask.
I had a PlayStation. That was a great system, you know. But you always like look at the stuff you don't
Yeah.
have too. I'm sure people looked at the PlayStation guys and were like, "Oh, I
Exactly.
want Metal
Yep.
Gear and all that stuff."
That's
Yeah.
exactly what happened to me because I only had an N64, and so I was like, I
Mhm.
want Resident Evil. I want all these
Right.
Final Fantasy stuff.
man, I got a PlayStation. I looked at N64 and I was
Oh,
like,
really?
nah.
Oh, so many people are saying that,
I'm
and
gonna
it's
play
weird because
Road Rash.
I don't have that experience of hating on the N64. I love that friggin' thing. So when people are like, "Man, that
Well, you know
console
what?
sucked," I'm like, "Did it?"
No, I don't want to say it sucked because it didn't suck. There's some really
But
good
here's the
games.
thing, though,
for it.
about the
I have
N64.
to admit.
Like,
But I was one of those kids that was like a street kid, you know. So when I looked at the
Dealing drugs.
N64, yeah, exactly. And when I looked at the N64, it was like, man, that's like kid stuff. Like I want to like, there's some real shit. And that was PlayStation 1 for me. Like, the first
always
time I
found, like,
popped that
the
in,
cool
like
kids
Road
had the
Rash and saw
PlayStation.
that, live action stuff, I was like, yeah, this is
That Road Rash was sweet. We should be covering that game.
maybe we will.
That was an
Maybe
awesome
we
game.
will.
well, there's a 64 too. It's awesome. It's super funny. It's not as good, but I have that one too. It's really
Yeah. It doesn't have the
Oh
cutscenes.
no,
does
it's
it? It's a little
totally
bit
different. But it's it's funny that they actually they still put a
It's
Road
still
Rash
good.
on it. Yeah, but the Road Rash from I don't know what to call it. It's so weird because it's just called Road Rash, but the 1994 Road Rash, right? That was on the 3DO that ported.
The original.
Yeah, the PS1. That's one of my favorite games ever.
Dev. Nick, old
Yes,
drunken beard over there.
How can I help you?
You got some Christmas cheer hiding behind that beard
my
over there.
my gruff beard. So you guys are actually just gonna dislike me.
I already do, but
right, yeah.
Aw.
Just more now. I was fortunate. My dad actually has been a big gamer forever. He used to play like Exuvius and stuff in Japan back in the
Nice.
80s.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Because he was in the Marines and he was stationed over there, and that's where he had it. So when I was growing up, some of my first memories, the first console, we had an Atari 2600, and whatnot. But the first Christmas that I can really remember, he at the time was working nights as a security guard, and recently divorced, and shared custody. But he got us
Going for that one-up Christmas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be very hard, to be honest with you. When the mom is a drug dealer and all that.
Hey, I feel you.
Yep. But yeah, that was got the Nintendo Entertainment System, and I played that quite a bit. apparently we had that for a while. I can't remember because I was so young. I had to be like 3 years old or something like that, 2 or 3. Possibly not even potty trained because apparently I still had a diaper on or something. Anyways, I beat the original Mario, and I was so excited that the mailman came by, and I ran out and grabbed him to show him the winning screen of that. Not too far from that, a Christmas or two later, we got the Super Nintendo, but with the Super Scope 6 add-on. And
gangster.
yeah, at the time it was really cool because hey, it's Super Scope 6, they're going to make a lot of games for this. They never made any games for it.
They made like 4.
Yeah, and I had 2 of them, and that was basically it. But it was really fun until you lose the scope part of the Super Scope, and then it's impossible to use. So if anyone ever buys a third one, used, make sure it has the scope because you won't be able to aim worth crap without it. From memory. Yeah, that was I love that Super Nintendo. Played it for years, but another couple Christmases, I think. Oh yeah, so we were moving to Alaska. My parents bought us Game Gears for the trip. Each of us got one.
Chew batteries.
Sure did. 6 AA's. They lasted anywhere between 2 and 4 hours, depending on what you were playing, if I remember.
Wow.
So
if you're watching TV, that thing wasn't gonna last.
Yeah, no. If you had the tuner, I do have the tuner here though. I have it in box somewhere. Got that, but had to use was it the AC or the DC car cigarette lighter and just played it off of that the entire time. I remember popping the fuse like probably a dozen times. My dad had to like replace the damn little glass fuse in the thing every time. And I do remember, what was that game? I believe it was by Blizzard, actually, I think, right? With those 3 warriors, the Archie guys. Yeah, the Vikings guys. I had that game. I played the crap out of it. It was really hard, but at one of the hotels, I lost it, apparently, and I never actually ever beat it, and I was very sad about that. And then the Christmas in Alaska would have been 95, so I got a PlayStation 1 in 95, and I played the shit out of that.
I believe it.
I love the original PlayStation. The original PlayStation was probably one of the best consoles of all time, just from the sheer amount of variety of games, how many games there were, how cheap they were, how good they were. Man, I played. I
gotta agree with you there, buddy.
Yeah, as much as I like the Super Nintendo and all the games are great, and the NES, the PlayStation will probably have the most.
It took it to the next level. It was the first one that really took it to the next level. Like, man, it's nothing against the N64. Like, the 3D stuff was cool, man.
That was worlds apart, really.
Oh, I forgot. We actually got the Sega Genesis 2 years before that. We were living in Colville, in the old Roadhouse. That was that bread.
I remember Colville.
Yeah, right before you get into Colville, there's a house right on the hill there. It was a bed and breakfast back in the day, and I think it's a bed and breakfast now again, or at least a restaurant. But they rented it out, and somehow my parents rented it for a year. It was kind of weird. It's like 100-year-old house, but it had like the big old industrial fridge and everything. It was kind of cool. I remember there was an old encyclopedia collection up there and everything. But yeah, and then was it the following Christmas when we moved back from Alaska down back to Spokane there, they got us this N64, and that came with they got me Zelda with it, and I played the crap. The funny thing is I never actually got to play Mario 64. I never owned it, so the first time I actually played it was on the 3DS. And after that, I pretty much I bought the game consoles, but yeah, the Xbox and came right after that, and the Dreamcast. But those weren't really Christmassy things. I think we got them at a pawn shop and whatnot. So yeah, I was very lucky. I basically got a game console every Christmas, just because we moved every year. It was kind of like,
true.
it's easy to get the kids, video games because you can pack them up and move them, and they're not very big like toys. So, yeah, I went to 12 different schools, so my consolation prize was I did get to play a lot of video games, and I guess my last biggest gaming kind of thing was, remember in high school, this was I think ninth grade. My parents got me my first like actual Windows computer that I could have myself, and it was pretty fast. It was an e-machine, not a very good e-machine, obviously, but it was good enough. But it didn't have a lot of RAM, so literally I took my Christmas money that day and went online. This was 90 or 2000, I think.
I remember
2000.
Is this when you bought that hard drive?
I bought, no, I didn't buy a hard drive. I bought RAM for this, but I also before this I also bought a CD burner back in back in '99. I bought a CD burner from Plex Store, I believe. That thing cost me all my savings. That was before I had under RAM and stuff on the drive to protect it from underwriting, and like it just made a lot of coasters a lot, and it was really expensive. But yeah, no, back to the RAM. I'm like, my mother was very upset with me because I was not happy apparently with the gift because I wanted to upgrade it. I'm like, it's just to make it a little bit faster. It's okay. It's a great little computer. I want to add some RAM to it. So yeah, that was a big argument at Christmas about me buying RAM for a computer because she didn't really understand why I would want to, improve it, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Lots of fond memories, but just powering through all those stories, it's just lots of game consoles during Christmases, which was nice. But also with all the baggage of moving and stuff sucks.
Yeah, everything comes with a price.
Mm-hmm.
That explains why I always got something like that whenever we moved. We moved like probably 4 times when I was a kid, and now that I think about it, every time we moved, there was either a computer or a Game Boy game that was just suddenly appear, and it would just keep me busy while we moved, and I'd be like, "Oh, we're in a new house now. Okay, I guess whatever."
The house just changes around you. You don't even realize it.
And then as soon as we moved in, the computer disappeared and the Nintendo disappeared. It was like, oh, okay. I guess
you guys seen the movie Glass House? It came out in like 2001. It's got, I don't know, it's like one of those Lifetime movies, but it's actually pretty good. There's this.
I definitely don't remember that one.
Yeah. My mom read it once. I remember watching it. It's a good movie though. It's like I don't know what you would call it, but it's kind of like a crime kind of movie. But these kids, their parents pass away and then they get adopted, right? And they're like teenagers, and they go into this new house, and it's like $1 million, like a multi-million-dollar house. And then the brother, he goes into it in his new room, and he's got like a brand new PlayStation with like a stack of games. And then like an N64 with a stack of games. I was like, what a brat. Like this kid just gets like everything. Like, yeah,
I have friends
and I was
like
like,
that,
it's a really funny scene. If you ever watch, it's called the Glass House. There's like the scene. I remember watching that, being like, oh, I'm so jealous of that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I've lived that. Yeah. There were some kids I was only friends with because they had consoles.
I've never ever done anything like that. Ever.
I remember like some kids would have like an N64 and all these games, and then they'd be like, "Oh, I'm getting a PlayStation for Christmas," and I remember being like, "Why do you want a PlayStation? You've already got a Nintendo." Like, I just couldn't get it in my mind. Like, why do you need one? You have a Nintendo.
Want all the games.
Yeah, I just remember like being like so perplexed. Like, how do you have the time to play all these different things? Of course, you have the time to play them. They're awesome, idiot.
Yeah, I would make time for sure. So for me, when it comes to video games and Christmas, I really didn't get a lot when I was younger. There was one year I finally got a copy of Mario 3 for Christmas. I was pretty excited about that. Yeah, that's my favorite game in the whole world. So I had an NES, but I didn't have Mario 3.
Man, the NES is so special.
It is. It's a great console.
Yeah.
Let's see, I think I was about 14. See, this is what I'm talking about, where my Christmases are bittersweet, okay? my dad bought me a PlayStation 1 for Christmas in like the year, I want to say 1999. And then unfortunately he passed away in January the next year.
Ooh.
So it's like, yay, PlayStation. Thanks, Dad. Bye. You know, like,
Thanks for the trauma.
yeah. All right. And then okay, damn, that's really depressing. Sorry, I don't mean to bring down the room. But so then like the next time I got a console for Christmas, like so after that happened, I went to go live with my sister, right? And her and her
Oh yeah, I
husband,
remember this.
yeah, they're both Air Force, right? Okay. So like I don't know. I came from like this dirt poor family, and then I go move with my older sister, who I like never met, and she's like rich. Okay, I mean to me she's rich. They're both sergeants in the Air Force.
14-year-old Rich.
Yeah, they're making bank. Like you mean I don't have to go steal clothes anymore? Like you're gonna buy them?
You could buy me that
Cool.
magazine. I don't have to tear the pages out.
Yeah, I don't have to tear the pages out of this magazine. Sweet, you know. Uh, so that was my first taste of that, right? So that Christmas, like I can't remember whatever year it was that the PlayStation 2 came out. If Nick, if you can look that up real quick, because now I'm curious.
Must have been
It's either
late
like
2000s for you
2001 or
guys.
2002, maybe.
2001, I believe, is
So
for
Christmas 2001. Then, if that's the year it came out, is
2000 in Japan, and your October 2000. So October 2000 is when it was
2000.
released in the US. Yep, October
Okay,
though, so near the end of the year, so it would be that Christmas.
I
okay.
remember being jealous because we didn't get it until like a
Wow.
year later.
So that was like my sister asked me like, "What do you want for Christmas?" I'm like, "I want a PlayStation 2." You know, I was like, "Screw it."
Yeah,
you guys,
I'm taking this
you
for
guys
everything.
got money. Let's see what happens. You know. So, dude, it was so sweet because she got me a PS2 for Christmas, and I was like super excited about it and stuff. But what was really sad is her husband was deployed during Christmas. So it
Oh,
was just me and her, and she was so sad.
oh,
And I'm like all like, super excited because I just got a PlayStation 2 and like, man, and she was just like the poor girl. She was just,
I can just picture that in my mind. That's so sad.
yeah, like here I am, all like, woohoo! And she's just like, on the couch, like, I'm really glad you liked your present. I feel so
No.
bad for her. Like, I don't know if she's listening to this, but Alicia, if you're listening to this, I love you. Thank you so much for the PlayStation 2. It changed my life.
Probably, but we don't know for the better or not. It just changed it.
Yeah, here we are. So I guess that's to be determined, right? We'll see where it goes.
I had a friend.
But yeah, so
Sorry.
this is why I like hearing your guys' stories about Christmas and stuff, is because mine are always so weird. Uh,
Oh
Evan,
yeah,
you
yeah.
said
There's
you
a
were
bit of
about
a
to say
delay.
something.
So,
I'm sorry,
so
man.
I just remember I had a friend that got a PS2. He was the only person I knew that got it when it launched. And I remember I went to his house. I used to just hang out. I used to spend the night at my friends' houses all the time. And I remember seeing it, and I was like, "Oh wow!"
Mm.
And I started to realize like he had no PS2 games, and we're just like playing Twisted Metal 4 on this. Like, are you serious? Like, you got a
No.
PS2? You don't have any PS2 games? I just remember thinking that was so funny how we're just like, I don't know if maybe his parents maybe they couldn't get any or something, but there's certain like that was what they were playing. It was Twisted Metal 4. And I was like, "Oh, boy."
Ah, now I'm glad you mentioned that because I forgot to mention that she didn't buy me any games.
Well,
Well,
I just got the PS2 and
yeah.
no memory card either.
oh.
So
Evil.
she didn't know. She didn't know, dude. She had no
Mhm.
clue. She was just trying to be sweet. She didn't know. So no games and no memory card. I think it took about 2 weeks to get a memory card for it. And the first game that I bought was
Okay. I know what
Fantavision.
that is.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It's a firework.
Don't know that one.
Firework. Firework. It's like almost like a Tetris game,
Cool.
but you set off fireworks. Yeah. really lame. It's on PlayStation Premium if you guys want to check it out.
PlayStation 2 was my least played, like, of the quote unquote retro consoles. I only really played Final Fantasy 11 on it.
You know, the whole memory card thing was really
I was an
really
Xbox
sucked,
boy.
you know, because we went from an era where like the N64 had a memory card, but a lot of the games had internal memory, which was really cool. And but you know, the memory cards were expensive, man,
Yeah.
and they didn't have a whole lot of memory in them at the time. And our parents didn't understand that until a little bit later, I feel like, because you know, for years we never needed one. And so
Yeah.
I remember I was a big problem when I got the GameCube because there were 2 memory cards, the gray one that had, like, no memory, and there was a black one that
Oh
had,
yeah.
like, hundreds of whatever they use. Like, it's, like, very small amount of memory now, but I remember I just couldn't get one. My mom it was, like, $30 for, like, the worst one or something like that, and, I had this brilliant idea.
Oh.
So I went to Blockbuster, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with Animal Crossing came with a memory card back in the day because you needed that to play it. So it always came with it packed
Nice.
in. Now, when I went to this it was actually Hollywood Video, and I remember they had the display cases, and when when Nintendo would ship them the games, or I don't know how they would get them, but they would get the games. Whoever was stocking them up forgot to take out the memory cards, or maybe it's just like they don't do like
Oh.
separate like games where it's just the game, like they would send them the regular copy. So I'm like going through all the like display boxes and just looking through them all, and there was a memory card, and I just took that shit. That was how I got my memory card, man. But it's you know, at least now we don't got to worry about that, you know. As far as modern consoles,
That's
Yeah,
what was
now
good
it's
about
all
the
digital.
Xbox. Because I had the same problem when I got my there was one year there where I asked my mum, and I was like, if I get really good grades, will you get me a PlayStation? And she was just sort of like, yeah, whatever. And I came back and I got an A in maths that year, which is unheard of for me. And she was literally like, to buy him a PlayStation. She bought me one, but it didn't come with a memory card. And so for ages, I didn't have one. And then I traded that in for an Xbox because it had the hard drive and you could save on
I
there. And I
love
remember
it
just
even
being like, that
today,
is
and like
so
you could put
freaking
your own
awesome.
music on it and everything. It's such a-
Yeah.
I know, and like
Yeah, that was
the
wild.
thing is so I have a PS2, and I got like, I'm not kidding you, I got like 6 memory cards. I can't keep track of all that stuff. I have a list on my computer of
Yeah.
like all the games that are on each one. You know, I have them labeled number
Mhm.
1, number 2, number 3. It's kind of a pain in the ass finding out which one is in which. But the Xbox,
Yep.
None of you guys bought one of the big memory cards where it
um,
had pages?
I got one.
I gotta say, my PlayStation 1,
Yeah.
I had so many freaking save games. I got a 32-page memory
Holy
card.
crap! I
Just
didn't know
like-
it went that high.
Yeah, I got one of those too. Did yours come in like a CD case?
I don't remember. It was so long
Okay,
ago.
so mine came in a CD case. I have one, and it's like 15. So okay, you have A, B, C, and D, right? And then there's
Mhm.
15 slots on each one of those, A, B, C, and D. And then each one of those slots is 15 blocks of memory.
Yep.
Per PS1.
Damn.
So you can go A1, A2, A3, A4. That's like basically each one is a memory card. And
That would have
it's
been a game changer.
It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, it has like a little screen on it and everything, so you can see
Yes.
which one you're on.
Yes, it does.
I've never seen one
It
of
is-
those. What are they called?
Oh, it is fantastic. I love it
I'm
so much.
looking one up right now, so I can see if
You
I
can
can't
get
find
them for
mine.
like
But
$10, maybe even
Yeah.
less.
What? I've never heard
Yeah,
of that.
today.
Yeah.
Now you can. I mean, back in the day
Yeah.
they were expensive, but you just
Yeah, but
steal them. It didn't matter.
Because yeah, I mean, I've got a little tin where I keep all my little memory cards, and it is a pain in the ass. Like, that's not got what I'm talking about. I need to find it, and you're just tossing through all these freaking memory cards. Click, take that one out. Click, gotta wait. Take that one out. No, it's not on there. Ugh.
it's what was it? Just really convenient for those games that use almost an entire like
Yeah.
block of memory.
Yeah.
I played sports games, so yeah, those ones. I know you
Oh,
guys
I
probably
did.
didn't play a lot of sports games, but man,
I played golf.
if you played NFL or MLB or anything EA,
I always
and
like the baseball game.
Yeah, it was.
It was your whole
but you
memory
know, I had a
card, whole
workaround
thing.
with the memory card stuff
Damn.
even way before they came out with this new thing where, you know, you have the different blocks in the in the card itself. But what I did was I took all 9 memory cards I have, and I got the PS3 adapter, and I just loaded them all into the console. Now they are still cut individually as different cards in the interface, but they're all in there, and you can quickly look through them. So that was kind of what I
Yes.
did in the meantime, and
But you couldn't do
so
that in 2001
Yeah, not that. I was gonna
No,
say 'cause my PS2 has
in
has an SSD hard drive in it now.
1996.
or 1996 on the
but then again, you
PS1.
wouldn't have that many memory cards then, anyways.
All right.
I don't.
Uh,
That-
Hey,
No, that's rich
nothing,
kid stuff.
Nothing
That
beats
is.
a VMU though, guys. So just hands down.
Yeah.
Sorry, VMU wins.
there you
Yeah,
go.
that's pretty awesome.
Let me ask you guys some more Christmas stuff before we
Yay.
move on to our MegaMan X thing. I just got a couple questions. Few, maybe 2, 3. We'll see how it goes. First, I want to know how you guys feel about Christmas music. We'll just go
Hate it.
around real quick. Nick, you hate it? You hate Christmas
Yep.
music?
Hey, Christmas music. I'm also just not a big Christmas person to begin with, so
That's fair enough.
I'm not the best person to talk to
Humbug,
about
man.
that.
Come on. All right, Andy, what about you, man? How you feel about Christmas music?
When I worked retail, I couldn't stand Christmas music. But I haven't worked retail in a long time, so it's grown back into my soul.
There you go.
And there's a place for it, but oh my god, I can't think of how many times I just had mental breakdowns while stacking shelves and listening to Mariah Carey or some Christmas. Oh my god. Ugh.
How about you, Evan, man? Where
Well,
do
for
you
the most
stand
part, I
on
love
Christmas
it.
tunes?
I have a 2009 Honda Civic. It's got a CD player for any of you that don't know. And I got a CD that from my
Nice.
childhood that my mom bought. It's called I don't have it in front of me. It's in the car right now, actually. It's like our local radio station. I don't even know if they're around anymore. It's called KOIT, and it's like Christmas classics of KOIT. It's got like Santa on the front and everything, and it's got like 30 songs. Like this is way before Mariah Carey, so you don't got to worry about that. It's got like the good stuff, like Run Run Rudolph and all like the old, like the classic stuff. And I put that in the car every year, during the whole month of December, and I just play it on a loop. It's awesome. Some of the songs are a little bit kind of like a little bit slow, like they're old, like from like the 40s, and they've been stuff. I'm not so big on that. I like the more
Yeah.
upbeat stuff. But it all is a really nice package. So in a way, I love it. I know Bad Religion's got this Christmas song album that they made that I haven't listened to yet, that I tell myself every year I'm going to get, and I never do it. But I've always wanted to get that as well. But yeah, that's where I stand with Christmas music. But I love it. It gets me in the mood. I associate it with the cold weather, and hot coffee or hot cocoa and stuff. So it's a nice feeling.
Do yourself a favor and check out the Twisted Sister.
Oh, Twisted
wow.
Sister has a
Mr. Christmas credit.
yeah.
That's my favorite Christmas album.
We lost you there for a second, but yeah,
Oh, man,
Twisted Sister's Christmas album is really good.
Hell yeah, it is.
See, Christmas music for me, there's some of it I like, some of it I don't. Anything that you hear in retail, I'm pretty much over because I used to work retail too, man. So that,
Brings
constant,
back trauma.
all the time, and especially, yeah. But man, I'll tell you what I do love when it comes to Christmas music is Michael Bublé.
Hell yes.
He's got a Christmas album.
Yes, man.
Man, I am so gay for Michael Bublé when it comes to that
Yes.
Christmas album. Like
That is such a damn good
Dude,
album.
every year when we're opening presents with the kids and stuff, man, I throw
Yeah.
that album on every year. That is our tradition. Like that is one of the best Christmas albums. Like he just takes it back to that old what is it, like Frank Sinatra,
Bing Crosby.
Bing Crosby style,
Mm.
and it's just, man, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I came
music.
so
Like,
close to buying the vinyl of that this year.
really.
Yeah, I don't know why. I kind of regret it now. I should have bought it.
And he was coming around for a concert, and I was like, man,
Yeah.
I want to go see him. Like
Yeah.
I looked at tickets, 1,500, man.
Yeah, who can
I
afford
was
that
like,
shit?
no, okay. I don't want to see him that bad.
No.
Okay, I did find those memory cards for you guys. I post
Yeah.
them on the podcast channel here.
Oh yeah.
I actually have the Mad Cats one on the bottom right. That's silver with the red
Oh
button.
no, not the bad cat.
I mean, it's still
I've
working
never
today.
seen those before. That's crazy.
I also have the top left one with the like teardrop shaped screen thing.
What comes up on the screen, like free blocks or something?
It just tells you what page you're on. So I believe this Mad Catz one's 16 pages, and they have like different ones.
Whoa.
So that's basically 16 memory
Wow.
cards in just one.
It's like 4 Madden
Holy
games.
crap! All right, that's insane. Yeah, that would have been a hell of a game changer back then.
Yeah, it definitely was. I still have my save games on there. I think the battery's still good. I haven't checked it in the last couple of years, but last time I plugged it in, it was still working.
I was going to say, what are the odds of these things like corrupting? They're known for that. Or?
Well, they have a battery in it cell to keep it alive, just like any Nintendo game or any saved game. The problem is, so you would have to plug it in, transfer your saves to another one, replace the battery because then it will wipe it, and then you'd put that in because I'm pretty sure it keeps it in a cell, so it's not a writable memory like it is for a lot of things nowadays. Back then, I just kept it like.
I'll throw this picture on my X account for our listeners, so they can see what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
But I have the top middle. That's the one I'm talking about.
Oh wow,
that's,
cool.
That's the closest one that looks.
See-through tech was so cool.
Yeah, it is. It's baby.
Yeah, there were a few different models, but yeah, those were the major ones that I could find there.
Yeah, and mine came in like a game case, like a whole ass.
Weird.
Yeah. More Christmas. I want to ask more. Do you guys drink eggnog?
Yeah.
I never used to, but I've developed a taste for it, but only because it's hot. Christmas is hot down here, so eggnog's not exactly kind of what I want to be guzzling.
Ew, that's gross to think about. Like eggnog in the summer. Yeah,
it's not good.
Chilled. I actually mix my eggnog with just milk because I think it's usually a little too strong.
Yeah, I drank it a lot as a kid.
Too thick for you?
Yeah.
A little too thick for you, Nick?
Just I'm not a big sweets person, so it kind of gets to me a little bit.
Gotcha, man. How about you?
Yeah,
Evan?
well, I drank it a ton as a
nog?
kid, and I think I ruined it for myself because of that.
Yeah.
You
one of
know,
those
Jack in
things,
the
isn't it?
Box does this like eggnog milkshake that looks great, but I just can't put my foot in it. I just know
Oh
I'm
yeah,
gonna
they
regret
do.
it. So, yeah, it's
Yep.
well, I'll tell you what, it's really good if you haven't had it before. That's what I remember, anyways. But it's it's almost like a milkshake to me, like almost like a melted milkshake or something. It's really
Oh,
thick.
yeah.
But no, I like it a lot.
Mhm.
There's only so many noggy days.
I like it thick. Really good. I love eggnog. I will have to be careful. I'll drink it until I get
Yeah.
sick. Like it's an addiction. Like I'm so glad they take it away after New Year's because I
man,
would
if
weigh
they-
800 pounds. I would just constantly drink eggnog all day. Like I would be using it for cereal. Like
It's terrible.
like just give it to me. I want it all the time. So I'm really happy that they take that away because my wife looked at me in disgust. Like, you really just drinking that straight from the carton? I'm like, yeah, it's delicious.
Oh no.
Buy a half gallon, people in the house, they think it's for them, and it's not. It's just all.
It's for
fine.
me.
I'm just gonna sit down with that half gallon of eggnog, and I'm gonna
Don't
chug
touch
it.
my damn nog.
Stay off. No alcohol in it for me either. What about you guys? You guys drink it with? You guys ever mix it up with rum or something?
I had it with rum once. It was nice. It was actually really good, but again, it's not so good in the heat.
My friend growing up down the street,
Hear that.
it was kind of a funny thing. Every year they would obviously we were all too young to drink alcohol, but their dad he would have my friends make him the alcohol, just being a lazy dad, and they would put like way too much, and the dad didn't even notice it, and he would get all messed up, and it was thought it was kind of a funny joke that they would do on
Mhm.
him every year, and the dad didn't even care. But no, I never. I can imagine it being. I can imagine it being really good though, with some any rum sounds
Well, I mean, traditionally it
Rum
comes
would
right.
be really
it's
nice.
brandy, and that's how
Oh
I've
yeah.
made it a couple
Oh yeah.
times from scratch, and it's pretty good.
That'd
Fancy
be
Yeah,
so
Nick.
good
Talking
on a
about it, I
cold night.
think
Yeah.
I'm starting to like
very
want
much.
it now. Like now that we're talking about it enough, I would drink it if I had some right now. So, you
Yeah, you
know.
would. I know
We
you
should take a
would.
nog
Well, yeah,
break.
I gotta go to the store, but I'll
Take a
be quick.
nog break. Let's go get some nog real quick.
But Derek,
We'll pause,
any
come back, and
brand
we'll
though,
be
or do you have
totally
a particular
trashed
brand
whatever
that you
when
get, or
we
just
log
it
back.
doesn't matter?
There is one particular, the Jack Daniels. They make some. I've only seen it in like
Mhm.
I think it's like a quart. So I usually buy 2 or 3 of them,
Jesus. Yeah.
For the day.
and I'll drink those.
your poor
Yeah, that
toilet.
kind of good. There's no alcohol in that kind. It's alcohol
Yeah,
free, but it's made by
Kinda
Jack
bizarre
Daniels,
that they would
and
make
yeah,
it without alcohol
it's
though.
really
It
good.
sounds like
It's
fake
almost like
advertising or something. If you get a eggnog from Jack Daniels, you would think it would have alcohol in it.
nah, it's just a way for them to, you know, it's them trying to
Okay.
convince you to mix it with their alcohol. You know,
Advertising space.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you could mix this with Jack Daniels.
Not saying you
Just
have to,
convinced if
but
I
you
spent
could,
a little
and
more
it'd be
on a
nice.
fancier one, I'd
It'd be
probably
real
appreciate
nice.
it more, but I'm not sure if that even maybe it's like, kinda like how people swear wines from Trader Joe's are just as good as expensive, so maybe it doesn't even matter.
Just buy some really nice artisanal organic one and mix it with Hennessy.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh man, that's good stuff. Well, are you guys ready to move into our review and talk about
Ready
the
as I'll
Mega
ever
Man
be.
X on the good old Super
Sounds good.
Nintendo?
I hate
Yes.
when they
Annoying.
call it
People calling it
SNES.
SNES.
It's sounds just
I mean,
SNES.
Oh,
yeah.
What's
stop
wrong with the
that.
I
SNES?
call it the
Don't, man.
SNES.
Don't do it. Not on
I
this
What
only
is
call
it?
it.
show.
I only call it the SNES because the Z SNES emulator was just how I pronounced it. So now I'd call it the SNES. But now that I'm being told not to, I just
Nether.
call it the Super Nintendo. I'll just go back to how it used to be.
We'll just call it the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Still call it SNES, but it's fine. Whatever. All right, so we are getting into Mega Man X for the SNES.
You bastard.
Super Nintendo, released in December 17th, 1993. So I bet a lot of kids got this one for Christmas, huh? Oh, that's
I was in the
Japan.
first grade.
That's Japan. We didn't get it in the US
Oh,
until January of 1994.
and I believe
Oh,
Japan
crap.
it was Rockman X, but
When did it
That's
come out in the PAL
2004
region?
now.
that would be May 1994.
94.
May.
Holy crap. That's way late.
No, it's the same year as America, just a few months later. 1 month
Oh, okay.
later. January to May. Too bad. So, we will do our usual review where we will talk about the graphics, talk about the music, and we'll talk about our gameplay experience. But before we do that, let's get into Did You Know?
Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? The pool guy wants to know if you know. So did you friggin' know? Did you know?
All right. It's been a while. I'm really excited to do this. Did you know all things Mega Man X? All right. I just got 3 short ones here for you. Okay. Number 1. Did you know that contrary to popular belief, Vile's character was not designed after Boba Fett from Star Wars? A lot of people think that because he looks like him almost. But it's not true. According to the creator, and you know what? I don't know if I'm even going to try to pronounce this guy's name.
Do it. Do it.
Oh, lost my place. Oh well, it doesn't matter. The character is actually created after the Mad Max character, the 1979 Mad Max, Bubba Zanetti.
Hmm.
You'd have to look him up if you're not too familiar with the movie. But yeah, the creator of the game actually based Vile or Baba, if that's how they say it in Rockman, off of him, the character from Mad Max movie. So there you go, Andy. Just for you, man.
Thank you.
Are you talking about Keiji Inafune?
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or Shosuko Tsukugi, or designer Kazunori Tazaki. How'd I do? Okay.
SNES.
Nez. Okay, that's enough of that. All right. Did you know, number 2? They misspelled homing torpedo. They they put an R in it. HORMING.
Homing torpedo.
Forming torpedo, not
I love it.
homing torpedo.
Those were the good old days, the innocent days.
All right. I might screw this one up a little bit, but that's okay. I'm a little rusty. Did you know, number 3, there's an enemy, if you're familiar with the original Mega Man game, there's a big round bat. Are you familiar with that one, Nick? You probably know what I'm talking about. Help me out here, buddy. It's called
I don't know his name.
It's called a Baton, Baton. Okay?
Yeah.
Baton, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a big round one. It's got like
that looks like a bomb kind of thing flying.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So if you're familiar with Mega Man X, you know they changed the bat to look more robotic. I believe they're called like Bat and Bones or something like that.
Yep, that's exactly what they're called. Ben Bone.
Yeah. So in Mega Man X, in Armored Armadillo stage, there is one baton in the whole game, and he's right there in the beginning of the stage when you come down that ramp. And not only is he the only one in that stage, but he's the last time you see him in the Mega Man game. That's it. He's gone. That main character who was in like every game since Mega Man 2 all the way up to X, that's like the last time you see him.
Yeah, apparently was a born prototype that was added. Yeah, it's to be a said to be a Baton-born prototype that is now rarely seen, and apparently there's only one in the stage near the beginning. And yeah, that's interesting. It does tell you in the strategy guide that it exists, but it's only in the Japanese strategy guide.
So yeah,
post a picture so you can post it up on your X also with that.
Yeah, I'll put that up there for you guys to see. If you're familiar with the game, you'll know exactly what we're talking about when you see them. But yeah, there's only that one, and then you don't see him again in X2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Wait,
Kinda
like you only see him the one time in the entire game?
Yep. Yeah, that one
So there's
time.
like literally one sprite of that in the entire game.
Yeah, I mean he'll regenerate if you go off screen, but yeah, he's there. I mean he's in Mega Man 2 through what is it, 6 to 8? I think he's in 8, but in X he's gone. No, I don't think they're in 8 actually. I don't know. I have to play through 8 again. 8 is
There's so many of these damn
fucking weird. 8 is so strange. But yeah. Anyways, there you go. That's the Did You Know for Mega Man X. All right. So now we're gonna get into our review of the game, Mega Man X. We're gonna talk about the music. We will talk about the graphics, and then we will talk about the gameplay. So, which one of you guys wants to go first this time? We're gonna talk about. Let's talk about the music first, of course, like we usually do. Who wants to step up to the plate? Okay, someone step up for music. Who we got? Andy? How do you feel
Yeah,
about the music?
it's incredible. It's a good score for a SNES game. It's really good. I mean, I came from the NES version, the first one. It was the only one I'd played. I've been told a lot over the years to play them, but for some reason, I don't know if it's just me or if it's my region, but Mega Man games were just never that popular. I don't know why. I never played one until like probably the late 90s. I had an American friend that came over for a few years, and he wouldn't shut up about how good Mega Man X was. So I was like, all right, fine, I'll try it out. But you know, Capcom games are like they do set a bar in terms of quality, graphically, musically, gameplay wise. They're always good. And so I always find that the music in these games, even going right back to the first one, is always very high energetic and good. Like, quality music. It's never
Right. It kind of
crap.
reminds me of Konami back then. You know,
Oh,
they
yeah.
both kind of had such a yeah.
Yeah. They deliver, you know. It was a quality seal of approval. It was like Capcom, you're in for a good time. I mean, I'll be honest. I didn't play this game as much as I wanted to, but from what I did play, it was rocking. It was awesome.
I mean, it's the same thing that Andy
For
said. I
sure.
mean, I think very, very memorable music. I never got very far as a kid, but you know, hearing the main theme and the first stage, and also the password theme. I really like the password theme. I remember when I was in high school, I got my first iPod, and it was the shuffle, and then I think I got like a nano
Nice.
one, and I just like racked my brain. I was like, okay, what are some of my favorite video game music? And I remember I just snatched a bunch of MP3s from Mega Man X and threw them on there, and would just listen to that like on my way to different classes in high school.
Was the
No, the
iPod
shuffle
Nano
was
the
the
one
one that
looked
looked
like
like the stick of gum. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, my brother
shuffle.
dropped it in the toilet.
That's the one I had. That thing was awesome.
Yeah. So I had to get the nano. He gave me his
Oh.
nano. He's like, I'm sorry, I dropped it in the toilet. It was
No.
broken. I was like, oh damn
That's
it.
messed up.
Yeah, so it was really cool though. I loved it, but you know, the Nano
Oh,
had a
man.
screen, so that was like a little bit better and it had more memory. So but the funny thing is I got the Nano. This is, by the way, high school. This was 2008. So it's not that, I mean, it's not, we're not talking like really, really long ago, but there was a kid in my Spanish class that had a Nano, or he had the Shuffle, and I wanted it so bad. And he was like, I don't know, he was like saying he wanted to sell it or whatever. And no lie, I said, I don't have any money, but I used to bring Pop-Tarts to school all the time because I was just crazy. I had just tons of them in my backpack. And he's like,
Nice.
if you give me, I had the brown sugar ones. He said, if you bring me 2 boxes of those tomorrow, I'll give you the Shuffle. I'm not kidding. And he just gave it to me the next day. That's how I got the Shuffle. So I don't know.
Worst trade ever.
Yeah,
Wow.
The best trade ever.
He was,
The
yeah,
kid
he
must
was
have
just
been
a
off his
raging
tits, he must have
pothead.
been
Like he like
stoned.
never came to class. He just wanted like food, and I was like, yeah, no problem, dude. And the same thing happened to me in 8th grade. Yeah, in 8th
You
grade,
got the score of the century, man.
I can't even make this stuff up, man. I remember I told this story on Twitter like a couple years ago, but there was a kid. It was like one of the first days of school in 8th grade. There was a kid named Montrell, and I was, like I got like a bag of salami in my and I was just eating it because I love food that's like ready to eat, And this kid's just like drooling over this. He's like, "Oh man, I want." He's like, "Can you give me some?" And I gave him some, and then he said, and we were talking about like N64, and this is like 2005 or so, 2006, and he's like, "Hey, I'll bring you Mario 64 and Bomberman Hero if you bring me a whole bag of salami." And the next day, I brought the salami. He gave me the games. That's how I got. Bomberman Hero is awesome, by the way, if you've ever played that. But that's how I
Wow.
got 2 of my favorite games ever from a bag of salami.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I don't know if I told this story
Bomberman
on
is
another
gross.
episode, but my brother, I don't know, it's like so weird. My brother traded away his Game Genie, his Super Nintendo Game Genie back in the day for a bag of corn nuts. That's a true story. Oh man, I told
What the hell is
I was
wrong
like,
with you
think you did
people?
idiot.
mention
Like
that.
he's like, dude,
I
I
think
was
you
so
have mentioned that
hungry. I was so
before.
hungry. They were like Louis Picante ones, and I really wanted them.
That's
So Yeah, I don't know. Weird relationship with food and video games, I guess.
That's great, right?
Yeah.
So Nick, how do you feel about the music for Mega Man X?
I mean, there's a reason why it's called Rockman X or Rockman in general. The music for Mega Man's almost always fantastic. I think they did a fantastic job using the synthesizer and everything to bring a lot of the music up a level for Super Nintendo. I think Rockman Forte has better music overall, but I still like it. It's no Mega Man 2, Mega Man 3, Mega Man, one of those. Can't
All of them.
memory all of
It's
them.
consistently rocking.
It's
Yeah.
consistently. It's just like high energy, kill all the things, and I don't know. I really enjoy the music.
Is that actually why they
Mega.
called him Rockman, by the way?
Yeah, and then that's why also like a lot of the enemies are kind of like rock or instrument based or music themed kind of thing.
What is it? Isn't it like in X that I want to say X5 or 6? They named all the bad guys after the members of Guns N' Roses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play that one
Yes,
now.
sir. All right. So this music is amazing. Okay, hold on. Full disclosure. This is one of my favorite games ever created ever. This is in my top 5 greatest games of all time. So I'm gonna try to be non-biased in this review, but I'm not making any promises. I fucking love this game so much. I got the music on my Spotify. I listen to it in the car. The music is so good that even the game over music when you get the password screen is good. Like even that music is good. Like you can just leave it there and I'll jam for a few minutes. Like that is good. Everything about it. My favorite stage music is definitely Boomer's stage. Man, what a track. That is just fire.
When I was a kid, so my mom used to
Perfect.
listen to Taylor Dane. She's a musician, and she's she had a song called "Don't Rush Me" like back in the day, and I swear it sounds just like the Chill Penguin theme. I swear a lot of people don't make that connection, but my mom had a Taylor
Really?
Dane CD. I listened to that a lot back in the day, and every time that song boots up, I think of that song. So if anybody has the time, just check out that song, and then you'll probably know what I'm talking about. It's just the beginning tune, but yeah, I always think of those two songs, and then I almost throw lyrics into the song because it sounds so much like the real song or Taylor. But it's weird, yeah. Some guys are so,
That's great.
and this
Nice.
is a lot of games. Composers are so inspired by so many other musicians that they kind of like will kind of recycle stuff. That's kind of what they did with Rick Ashley when they did the "Never Gonna Give You Up" song, kind of with the Robo guy from Chrono Trigger. When people started realizing, it's just a thing. I love it. I think it shows, like I don't know what the right word is, but we're all inspired, right? Nothing's completely organic, and it's nice to see some humble like kind of beginnings where it's like, they liked this, they liked the way that sounded and they used it, and I think that's really cool.
There's a lot of good examples of that with Final Fantasy, especially the later one, like 7 and 8. There's a lot of songs in there that you can hear, like there's Deep Purple. Especially in 8, there's a lot of Stevie Ray Vaughan, like bass lines and things like that, where I hear it and I'm like,
Right.
I know what song that he's playing right now. There's a lot of those nods to it.
Very cool how they work that stuff in there. All right, let's talk about the graphics. Nick, no, let's not start with you. Evan, let's start with you.
Oh man, it's
How
just
do you
like
feel
we
about
said
the
with the
graphics,
music.
man?
Konami and Capcom are very, very good at pretty much everything you get. The game looks awesome. The thing that's so cool about it is, but by the way, did Mega Man X or did Mega Man 8 come out before X?
I believe.
Okay, well, I
8
can't remember, but
came
I
after.
seem to remember X being like the first time seeing Mega Man actually.
Yeah, 8.
Oh, I'm
Mega Man
sorry. I
8
didn't mean
is
Mega
on
Man 8.
PlayStation 1.
I meant Mega Man 7. I'm sorry.
That
Yeah,
stuff
no,
is
Mega
so
Man
confusing.
7. Was that before X? Okay. Okay.
No,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Mega Man
So
7 came out in
basically,
95.
it-
So Mega Man 5
right.
would have been
So
the
Mega Man. This is the
one
first
between.
time I had ever seen Mega Man on the next generation. Basically, is what I'm trying to say, and it's incredible looking. I mean, it's so much better looking than and it's it's just got so much more depth. Um, and the idea of Mega Man X, I don't even think they're being literal about it. It's obviously not the 10th Mega Man, right? They're using X as like a, right. X is supposed
No,
to
his name is
indicate,
X.
well, it's a better version of him, right? He's improved, and I think that that's really kind of like what they did with like Jason X, right? Like Jason X is like stronger and stuff. So also that's a tie into Friday 13th, by the way. But so what I thought was cool was are you familiar with the Funky Homo Sapien, the rapper? You don't know who Del is? You guys don't know who Del is? Oh,
Nope.
anyways,
No, I
he's
can't
Ice
say.
Cube's cousin, and he has songs in Tony Hawk 3 and a couple other Tony. Anyways, so he when he did when he started off, I remember him doing an interview, and he said when I started to progress in my career, he was a big fan of Mega Man, and he said, "Well, I want to be I want to be the next improved version of myself." So he changed his name to Deltron, which is inspired by Mega Man X because he was older. Mega Man was older in Mega Man X, and he was more improved, and that was what the concept that he was using there. But I thought that was interesting. I'm just more surprised you guys don't know who Del the Funky Homo Sapien is, but you probably would know if you heard him. If you heard him, you would be like, "Oh yeah, I know." But
I'd have to
he had
hear
a
his
song in
music.
Tony Hawk 3 if you
Yeah.
guys played that back in the day. But I thought that was cool. So he was inspired by that.
Yeah, that's really cool. I didn't know that. Yeah, going back to the numbering. So yeah, I mean, it's a little confusing on the numbers, but you've got Mega Man, the main series, the X series is like the offshoot with upgrades and stuff, and then there's games like Mega Man or was it Rockman and Forte, which I believe was released as Mega Man and Bass on the Game Boy. Highly recommend if you haven't played Mega Man and Bass or Rockman and Forte. Just the graphics on that is insane because it came out on the Super Nintendo, but like in '98, I think.
Oh wow!
So
Okay.
it's like a really old, like late stage. That's why we never got it in the States.
Yeah.
But like the sprite work is insane on that game.
Yeah, that one's a really good one. I played that one on emulator. Pretty fun.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, the graphics. They're pretty dang amazing. Can't really say much that hasn't already been said. It's perfect. Like I said, I'm giving a very biased review here. It's perfect. I love the whole game. I love the animations by the characters, the bosses. One of my favorite things is when Launch Octopus, he's totally talking smack when you walk into the room. He points at you and he's like, "You're going down." Watch
Definitely
for that.
set up the large sprite work. Very, very great looking on the Super Nintendo. Especially it's an earlier game too. It was '93, so pretty good.
And yeah,
for today.
The layering of the levels, like that opening stage, the background, you can see the highways running through the background. It's really cool, man.
Yeah, very cool. The first stage is we'll get to that on gameplay.
Yes. All right, Nick, did you say you wanted to go first on your gameplay? Let's get into that.
Yeah, I'm just going to bring this up before any of this starts. Yes, I'm going to be citing some of the sequelitis stuff from Ego Raptor as the first stages. Just phenomenal. It is, as a person that just hates tutorials, Mega Man games are freaking fantastic with it, but Mega Man X takes it like to another level on a tutorial. It teaches you everything you really need to know about the entire game in that very first level: how to climb walls, what direction to walk, how to charge your weapon, things like that. it does it all without a single text box. It does it through the level itself. For instance, to teach you how to do the wall jump, you have to fight the bee, the mechanical bee. It's not a very hard bee, but when you kill the bee, it breaks the road and it falls down to the ground. Well, now you're like stuck down on the ground. You're like, well, how do I get out of here? Well, you're going to jump onto the walls, back and forth, and eventually you're going to figure out, oh, I can actually jump again and jump again and jump up the wall. And it just teaches you that all the way to the boss at the end, where who shows up at not the boss itself, the guy that rescued you. What's his name again?
Zero?
The red guy.
Zero, yeah. Zero comes in and he's all charged up and has all the upgrades that you're going to have at the end of the game. You're like, man, I wish I was that powerful. Like, you're going to be that powerful. You will be that powerful at the end, and it makes you want to be, Zero. Like, man, right? So good. All that in one freaking level. No, this A does this, B does this. Hey, MegaMan, did you know? Like, shut up! I hate all you tutorials. I just want to play the game, and I miss like games being able. I can turn it on and just start playing it. It's almost impossible to do that anymore. You have all your did you log in for the day? Did you get your dailies done? Did all this crap? Did you buy your new skins that came out? Did you do your and that's just like an online game, but you get a new single player game, you're like, well, look up, look down, left, right, or a pop-up comes up, and it's
funny you should mention that, because like just as a sidebar real quick, I played that new Indiana Jones game this morning, and the first, I don't know if anyone's played it, but like the first part of that is like a big sort of interactive movie sequence, and as I'm doing it, there's like pop-ups going like, you achieved this achievement, and it's like blocking the movie as I'm watching it, so I can't see what's going on. You achieved this, you did that. It's a tutorial stage that's teaching you what you're supposed to be doing, but there's all the shit that's just popping up on the screen that's getting in the way. Yeah,
no, it's just getting ridiculous anymore.
It's crazy.
There's more modern games that do, teaching tutorials through the level. Halo series, for instance, is at least 1, 2, and 3 were really good about teaching you how to move and transverse a stage. Halo 3 did a great job when you unlock, your wake up in the jungle there, and you just have to follow your Marines. Well, first it's like let's test your up and down, left and right. Okay, you look like your suit's functioning, cool. And then they follow through the jungle, and it just progresses it slowly without a ton of pop-ups, and pauses the game for you to read something. Like, stop taking me out of the game, let me play the game. But the gameplay is by itself is just phenomenal with Mega Man. Again, it's a game of skill. It's not really a game of luck. The pattern's the same throughout the game. There's not a lot of RNG. It's just a really solid game. I mean, that's why I like Mega Man, and I always have, just for that reason.
Very nice. Andy.
Yeah.
How'd your gameplay go, buddy?
I'll just say this. I really actually did enjoy this game. It was good for what I did play, but I don't know. I feel like as a kid, I would have probably really spent the time to learn how to play it properly, but I got my ass absolutely handed to me no matter what I did. I did that tutorial stage 1,000 times, but it's good because that stage is awesome. And it looks amazing, and it's like sets up the game perfectly, like you said. But the amount of times that I died, I had to go back. I think I got as far as the penguin.
Beginning?
And that guy, within seconds, had me slaughtered. Within seconds. I paused it and was like, all right, yeah, cool. I'm at the penguin boss. All right, cool. Unpaused it. Within seconds, I was dead. But that's on me, because I just, I don't know. These games just don't click with me that well anymore. Like I said, when I was younger, I probably would have really enjoyed this. Nowadays, I don't know. I'm just so damn busy and tired all the freaking time.
It does take some practice to get used to this one.
But like, what I did play of it, like this game is friggin' awesome. It really is. And if I really actually spent more time getting into it, this probably will be one of my favorites.
Yeah, I believe it would be because
Like I played a lot of
once
Mega
you
Man
beat it,
1. I did pretty good with that, but this one is a whole nother.
yeah, it's an accomplishment. You feel good after beating this one.
Yeah.
Evan, how about you, man?
Yeah, my
how's your
introduction to
gameplay
this
go with
game
this
was on
one?
the
How do you feel
Z-SNES,
about it?
which again is an emulator from back in the day. And I was pretty discouraged with all Mega Man games as a kid when I was about 6 years old because they're just known to be incredibly hard. And I remember I jumped into it using the integrated Game Genie. I gave myself infinite life just to get a feel for it, before I got annihilated. The funny thing is when you do the first level, it's impossible to proceed um, with that. And I'm wondering if any of you guys can figure out what I mean by that before I actually give the answer. So I have infinite life, right, in the first level, and I can't beat the level. Does anyone know why? Well,
Because you
yeah,
can't
you can't,
die
that robot that
against
you
Vile.
come across in that level, uh, I don't know what his name is. It's like a purple robot or something, right? He drops down. Yeah, you can't kill him. Yeah, you can't kill him.
It's
So
Vile.
you just keep
Yeah,
going
mine.
over and over and over again, and then you're just stuck. So I remember being like, "Well, I'm over with this," and I just didn't really touch it for a while. But later on, as I got older, I just jumped into it. I was like, you know what? I think Mega Man X is the first Mega Man game I ever played that felt more fair. And that's just me. Maybe I'm just terrible at the original ones. But another thing too is when you get that speed dash, it's really hard to go backwards, man. Like I love that. I love the idea of being able to just zoom forward. I think that was a really cool thing that they added. Um, and you know, I didn't actually beat the game, but I got through it, and I got through I think a little more than halfway through the game, and I just never could do that with the other ones. I don't know. It's just funny. I had a hard time with the NES versions, but this is one that if I were to play any Mega Man game out of all of them, and there is many, this is the one. Right. This is the one that matters.
This is the
Well, there's
one.
others that I like too, but this is
I love
the
that.
first one that I really enjoyed.
Yeah. No, I get you, man. Yeah, so for me, the gameplay is phenomenal. It's one of my favorite games ever. I've already said that. I can't hide it anymore. It's great. I love everything about it. You guys have really nailed it here. I'm trying to think of some of my favorite things you can do in this. The different weapons. Okay, they really expanded compared to like other Mega Man games. Like you had the weaknesses, you use certain bosses on weapons on other bosses. But this one they took it like extra. Like when you're up against Flame Mammoth, you can use Boomer's boomerang to cut off his trunk, and
Nice.
he won't shoot the oil slicks anymore.
I'm taking notes.
Yeah, and then with Launch Octopus, okay, you can cut off his tentacles with the same weapon, the Boomer's weapon. You can just cut that off. Trying to think what else stuff you can do. Armored Armadillo with the electric thing, his armor falls off. That makes it a lot easier. The freeze weapon is really cool against Spark Mandrill. Yeah, because you can just basically stop block him with that. It makes it really easy. I don't know if you guys tried fighting him without that, but he's probably one of the tougher bosses in the game. Yeah, it's great. Everything about it is great. The only thing is, I wish I could have played as Zero. You know, like so, just because he looked so cool, and
Yeah,
but if it, can't not till X4 really. I guess you can in X3, but X4 he feels way better. They nailed him in that one. So yeah, I mean, I don't feel like the game is too hard, but also, I guess I've played the crap out of this so it's really easy for me now. I tried to make it harder by only using the Buster and beating it that way. I did beat it, but I died a lot. Like,
Well, yeah.
yeah, Spark Mandrill with just using the regular Buster is tough as nails, dude. Like, because he's got that charging punch, and I swear it takes like half your life. Brutal. It's probably not that much, but it feels like.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, man, great freaking game.
I
Yeah,
can tell
man.
you loved this game because, like, I was watching you play it more than anything.
Oh yeah,
You must have played it like 4 times. How many times did you finish it?
this time around,
Yeah.
I don't know, probably 5 or 6. I can beat it in about an hour and a half.
That's crazy that you know the game so intimately. You can just smash that out like that.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty. Like I said, this is one of my top 5 greatest games of all time.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
this is one of those games I can just slaughter, and it's like muscle memory.
I
think
believe
I
it.
think this game is a must play for anyone that is in the game industry or anyone that's thinking about making or building a game. It just teaches a lot without any instructions, and I think that really drives home for me at least. The gameplay is tight, and again, the tutorial is just goddamn amazing. I just wish more games were like that.
I played the tutorial a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else got some final thoughts on this one that they'd like to give?
Yeah.
Kind of go into wrapping
Yeah,
things
it's
up here for today.
I always
just a really good
consider
game.
I've played a little bit of almost all of the X games, and funny thing is, so X is great, obviously. X2 and X3, I remember being really hard, and I just never could even like enjoy them for that reason. But X4 is fantastic too. If anyone hasn't played X4, jump into that. Don't even worry about X2 and X3. Just jump into X4. It reminds me a lot of X as far as difficulty. It is hard. I mean, it is a Mega Man game, but I don't know. They just did something right with that one. And the thing about it that I love the most is that you can be Zero. And Zero, it on paper, it doesn't sound like it would work, but it actually almost it almost acts like a hack and slash like platformer at that point when you're Zero, because he doesn't use a projectile. He uses a Buster Sword or whatever it's called. And I mean, he's so fucking cool, and he's fast, and it works. Like, I love playing as him in that game. I actually I have a hard time playing as Mega Man in X4 because of that. Because when you get into that close proximity of the enemies and you use that sword, it does damage quicker, because there's a compromise there. And no, I just highly recommend like X4 if you've played a ton of X. Jump into that one. It's on PlayStation. It's on Saturn, which you probably don't have the Saturn one, but the PlayStation version is the one I played, and I love it. So it's a great game too.
Right on. Andy, any final thoughts for you, man?
It's definitely one of the better looking SNES games I've ever played. That's about it. No, I have to go back and play this because I feel bad. Like, I genuinely do suck at these games, but it's mostly just because I'm always so friggin' tired. And I just can't keep up. So yeah, I'm going to dedicate some time to it because from what I did play, I actually really did enjoy it. They did good with this.
Yeah. Final thoughts for me. Everyone should play this game. It's the best game in the world. You'll never play anything better.
Let's not go nuts.
No, okay, that's a bit much, but it's probably one of the best platformers on the Super Nintendo. I will put it up there. I get in trouble for this one, but I think it's better than Super Mario World.
Oh, whoa. Oh,
Yeah.
no. Nope.
Yep.
This man's crazy, people.
Nope,
Don't listen.
We don't
listen.
We don't get to talk anymore. That's it. That's the end of the show. No. All right. Before we get into this wrap up, and before we talk about what we're going to do for our next game, real quick, I did promise our friends and listeners on X or Twitter or whatever you guys want to call it these days, I asked him real quick what just some of their best Christmases were, like some of the stuff that stuck out. A lot of folks kind of had a lot of the same answers. You know, they all got like an NES for Christmas and stuff. So I just want to read off just a couple real quick before we wrap it up here. So Santa Force, 1984. You guys know him. He was formerly known as Turbo Force. Uh, he says, my dad once got me a giant box of video games. One of
Nice.
them was the SNES. He also got Final Fantasy VII for the PS1 and a Dreamcast.
Oh,
So all in one box. I mean,
oh man.
that's impressive, dude. Very good.
Did he say how
Turbo.
old he was when that happened?
You know, he didn't say, but I'm sure
I
he'll
was
get
gonna
back
say
to
that
me with it.
that would have been overloading for a kid. Like next year's Christmas would have sucked.
Yeah, right. Let's see real quick here. RG Sentinel, Sergeant Sentinel Gaming. He said it was very tight financially in '96, but his mom still managed to get him a copy of Doom and Indiana Jones' Greatest Adventures on the Super Nintendo for Christmas, and he is
Ooh.
forever grateful.
I still have
So,
my copy of Doom for the Super Nintendo. I got.
yeah,
Yeah.
Nice.
It's
I
terrible.
remember I rented that when I was a kid. I didn't think it was terrible because I didn't have a good computer at the time, but I, for some stupid reason, took a pair of scissors to the manual and cut out a bunch of like the pictures and stuck them on a book without even really thinking. I think about it nowadays and I cringe. I'm like, what was I doing?
that's wild. All right, I got one more here that I want to read off the Twitter real quick. DMCPCRT. Yeah, that's his at. I'm not sure what that means there, buddy. But anyways,
Good luck finding that one.
yeah, DMCPCRT. Nintendo DS. He said there was a present wrapped under our tree for weeks that seemed the same size as the DS box, and it took everything in me not to mess with it. Christmas came and I finally got to open it. And he said, sure enough, it was a DS, all right. A deer shitting. You might have to look
What?
this up. Yeah, he got a picture of it, okay? What it is it's like it looks like almost like a piggy bank
Oh,
or
I think
something.
I know this. Is this the thing that shits jelly beans?
Yeah.
I think I got one of those for Christmas too.
He got one of those. He thought it was a DS, and he's like, sure enough, it
Oh,
was a DS, all right, a deer shitting. And
that
his
sucks so
dad,
bad.
yeah, he said his dad thought it was the funniest thing. And then right after he opened
Oh,
it, his dad comes out of another room, hands him a massive box, all right. And he said he's even more confused. And then inside the box was another box, with another box, with another box, with the DS inside.
oh man.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool, man. I just wanted to share those. So.
At least he got his DS in the end. I feel better now.
Yeah, he got his DS all right. That's for sure. Sorry I couldn't get to everyone's comments on there, but I appreciate everyone sharing that with us. That's really nice. Appreciate it, all of you guys. All right, so before we go, we have to tell everyone what we're going to cover on our next episode. So we're going to do things a little bit different. Instead of me just picking what kind of torture I want to put my boys through here, I'm going to give them a choice of their personal hell. So,
Oh, thanks.
all right. So you guys are going to get to choose. Now, I got 2 games here for you. All right. And then you guys can decide which one we're going to play for our next episode. Okay. You ready? Here we go. Castlevania Symphony
Yes.
of the Night.
Oh.
Ooh.
Or Illusion of Gaia on Super Nintendo.
Oh. We have a month.
Wait, what was the second game?
Illusions of Gaia. Or Gaia.
I think he means Gaia.
Gaia?
Gaia.
Yeah.
Gaia.
I wasn't gonna cut in there, but you whatever.
I'm from the south.
did
Fuck
Illusion.
off.
Illusions of Gaia.
Illusions of Gaia.
What's an illusion of Gaia?
Anyways, which of those
Play
two games?
because I haven't played the other one.
Symphony.
Illusion.
I haven't played the other one, so that's
What'd you say, Evan?
I would just probably say the Symphony of the Night.
You never played Sympathy? Oh, Sympathy. That's Sympathy of
That's
the
a
Night.
different thing.
Yeah,
Sympathy of the
right.
Night is something else.
Yeah, that's something I need as I cry.
That's what we do Christmas night.
I haven't played Illusion of God. I've played Symphony of the Night.
Oh.
It's a Super
Is that
Nintendo.
on Sega, Illusion of Gaia, or is that PlayStation?
That's Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo. Oh, okay, I was wrong.
Yeah, I would rather play personally Illusion of Gaia because
It's a tough choice because those are both pretty decent.
I was never a fan of Sympathy of the Night.
That'll be the name of that episode.
Chowder!
Chowder! It's
I'm a
chowder!
very big fan of the original Castlevania because it's a very linear type game, and then when they made it all like get your ass
Metroid.
lost, I was very sad.
Oh.
I don't like that type of game
Well,
personally, but
here's another thing.
that's my help.
If we choose Symphony of the Night, does that mean we never get to play Illusion?
Not necessarily, no.
So how would it work then? Does it just go back into the
I
barrel?
got an idea. Let's just do Road Rash.
What I will do, because I'm glad you asked this, because I was thinking about it. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to, whichever one you don't pick will get carried over, and it'll go up against a different game. So if you pick Symphony of the Night, then next episode you will have a choice between
Road
Illusion
Rash.
of Gaia and something else.
Because I feel bad that Nick wants to play it and we don't. It's not what I don't want to. I just want to play Symphony.
Well, you know who gets the final
Road
say?
Rash.
Me.
You.
Me. It's me.
Oh, well.
Road Rash.
So, what do y'all want to play? Road
Yeah.
Rash.
Yeah, go Road Rash.
All right.
Road Rash.
If I'm gonna have to throw in the final vote here, are you coming back,
If we
Evan?
do Road Rash.
Let's settle that right now. Are you coming back?
Oh, damn it.
We're not gonna do Road Rash, not this time. Are you coming
I
back?
don't know.
Nick?
We'll have to see. But I'll say
Just
yes for
no-
now. How's that?
Okay. No, Evan's vote doesn't count. So,
Oh, okay. Well, then I vote for Symphony of the Night.
Nick,
I would like to play Gaia.
you guys don't make this easy on me. You know, I thought it would be cool to like give you guys a choice,
You fucked up.
I took the choice, you know.
and then you guys just make it harder because
We
y'all
followed
can't
your instructions.
figure
This is
out-
what you wanted.
disagree on something.
You're like, oh damn, I thought everyone was gonna play Symphony.
Well, actually, you know what? To be fair, I've had a little think about it. And we did just play a Mega Man. And I guess Symphony of the Night's kind of going to be similar. So maybe I'm swayed, and maybe Illusion is the better choice.
The question is like, everyone's played Castlevania. Like that's
Yeah.
no
That's
one's
very true.
played Gaia.
All right, yeah, I'm with Nick then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right then.
you've convinced me.
Settled. It's settled. We're gonna play Illusion of Gaia for
Done.
Super Nintendo.
Because I'm looking at screenshots right now and it's straight up my alley.
I love that game so much.
I have not played it. It looks great. I've never
I
actually
haven't
haven't
played
either.
it?
No, I've not played
Oh, I'm so excited to bring this to you guys. This is gonna be good.
Yeah,
it. Looks like
Evan,
we made the right
Evan, you
choice.
should play it. You would like it, Evan. I think you would like it. 'Cause this
Yes, we did just decide on that. Yes, Road Rash.
All right, guys. We got to wrap this up, man. I think this one's ran a bit long.
a little
But
bit.
that's
Yeah.
all right. That's all right. That's all right. There's more work for Nick. He doesn't mind. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I really missed you guys. I'm really glad we could do this again. I know it's been a while, but we are now back on track. So, Merry Christmas, Nick. Merry Christmas, Andy. Merry Christmas, Evan. Merry Christmas to all of you folks out there. Thank you so much for listening.
Road Rash.
You guys want to say your goodbyes real quick before I throw
Check
it
out the Twisted Sister Christmas album. Do yourself a favor. Go check it out.
There you go.
And from good old Saint Nick here, Merry Christmas to
Oh,
everyone here.
Brash.
And
Right on.
glistening.
Very good, Evan. All right, folks. That's it for today. Thank you all so much for listening. I hope you all have a very fun and happy Merry Christmas. And please, always remember the light at the end of the tunnel.
MegaMan,
You.
there's a hole in the
Goodbye.
zip line that you.
No, shut up! I don't need you!
MegaMan.
Oh, you guys.
No, that was fun. I missed this.